Nothing I say is ever going to be enough to introduce the star who joins me today from the very pinnacles of professional wrestling that earned him a truly global following. He is today the world's highest paid actor with huge films, the careers of other stars, and many reputations resting on his very broad shoulders. And now he's the frontman on what is said to be Netflix's biggest budget feature film, Red Notice, that's out very soon. Really good to welcome Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, here on India Today. Always a pleasure, Dwayne. Welcome. Thanks for being with us. I've seen the trailer. Can't wait to watch the film. Very, very exciting. But what about Red Notice got you excited, Dwayne?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for having me on, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I owe you dinner now after that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. What got me excited about Red Notice was the originality of the story, was the opportunity to, I mean, yes, it's Netflix's biggest investment in a film, which is great. But more importantly than that, I think, is the originality of the movie. And also, without ruining it for your viewers, there's a surprise. There's a surprise in the movie that really caught my attention. And the convergence of making something original, big scale, global, and with a wonderful surprise for the audience. That is the twist of all twists. I was in. And, my criteria for making movies these days is two things. Am I going to love making the movie? And just as important, are people going to love the movie itself? So I think we check the boxes yes on both of those for Red Notice.
Dwayne, this is going to be your third film. This is your third film with Rawson Marshall Ferber after Central Intelligence and Skyscraper, big action films. Was it everything you hoped it would be? We're going to have to wait for the twist, obviously, but was it everything you'd hoped it would be?
It really was. And thank you for asking that question. This is my third movie with Rawson. He is, and for your viewers, Rawson is in a real elite group of cadre of directors in Hollywood who are their original writers and directors of the script. There's Chris Nolan, Quentin Tarantino, and certainly Rawson Thurber. Big action, global action, but original from beginning to end and being the sole writer. The movie was everything that I had hoped to be, and to be honest with you, more. Because when I signed on, it was just me and Rawson, and with this great idea for a movie. Then came on Ryan Reynolds, then came on Gal Gadot, then came on this amazing cast all together. And the chemistry with Ryan and I really jumps off the screen. Then you add Gal Gadot to the mix, everything jumps off the screen. So that's why I say it was more than I expected in the best way.
Tell us a little bit more about that chemistry. I was going to ask you actually about, the way you play off Ryan and Gal. It's very much there in the trailer, so I can only imagine how much more of it we're going to see in the movie.
Ryan is known around the world to be a very funny guy, and very entertaining. And he brought his A game to Red Notice. And I've known Ryan for 20 years. And the chemistry that we have, even though you might be friends with somebody and know them, chemistry isn't always, chemistry isn't always a guarantee. And especially on the big screen where everything is magnified and where audiences, they know when something is real in terms of the chemistry, and they know when they know these guys are really having fun, or I don't know, they really like each other in real life.
Yeah.
The chemistry we had was spectacular. It really jumps off the screen. Nonstop laughs. And that's the great balance, I think, sometimes of these movies where you have great action in a movie and you really come up with the comedy of it and you have it converge in the middle. And if you're lucky enough, and sometimes when that happens and it just hits that perfect moment, you wind up making a great movie.
No, it looks really good in the trailer, I have to be honest. But Dwayne, this is Netflix's biggest budget feature film. And I really wanted to ask you, you're no stranger to big budget films, but, given the past couple of years, the pandemic, has there been, what does it feel like to shoulder, the burden of such great expectations? The biggest budget film by Netflix.
Well, considering how big Netflix already is in terms of their global presence, certainly in India, we're well aware of the influence and the numbers coming out of the country. As a producer of the movie too, as well, it's something that you shoulder up with the studio, you shoulder up with your other producers, and you really go to work. And we didn't set out to make the biggest movie in Netflix history, but here we are for a number of reasons. And the main thing we could do is just deliver a great movie, and that is it. So when you talk about, I think, probably pressure and what's on the shoulders, I will take that on, because I do have confidence in the team and people who I've surrounded myself with, who are a lot better and smarter and greater skill sets than I. So I feel good about that. The thing though, and I think just to dig in a little bit deeper to your great question, beyond the budget, which, as we know, the bottom line is always the bottom line, and that is the studio has to make money. But beyond that, what I did find was the pressure to make sure that we created a great culture while we were shooting during COVID. And that was the biggest thing, because it was such a scary time. We had to shut down Red Notice. Then we had to come back and shoot as Delta variant was rising, and now everyone is unsure again. So I think the pressure of really creating a great culture that was empathetic, that was caring to the crew. We had 1,000 crew members. But I got to tell you, Shiv, these guys and girls who came to work every day wanting to make a great movie, that was really inspiring, and I really got the best crew. And I shot 2 movies back to back. It was Red Notice and Black Adam. So Red Notice crew went to the Black Adam crew. So that crew was just incredible.
Last question, Dwayne, since we're running out of time, and since you mentioned India, you've had a brush with Bollywood when you made Baywatch with Priyanka Chopra, but would you ever make a Bollywood film? Because you've got a huge, huge following, as you obviously know, here in India. Everyone knows you as The Rock first, and then Dwayne Johnson. Would you ever entertain or want to be in a Bollywood film? You'd be perfect in one.
I would love that. I have always said that. I would love to figure out whatever that pathway is. Sure, absolutely. And you bring up about The Rock before Dwayne Johnson. I was well aware of the support that I was getting as a professional wrestler. And I remember there were a couple of tours that we were preparing to go to India, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. They fell through. But I was really looking forward to that, because the guys before me, like, for example, I'll mention some names here as pro wrestlers: Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret the Hitman Hart, The Undertaker. All these guys who are all my close friends would come back from India and say, "You got to go." That was the wildest, the greatest time. The crowds were crazy, and there were just like 100,000 people at these stadium shows. So that's the wrestling part of it. But in terms of Bollywood, I would love that, because I've always felt too as well that there should be some more connective tissue between Hollywood and Bollywood. Somehow, I feel like, and especially this day and age where so much of our releases are a combination of theatrical, yes, but now in streaming, where there's so much more opportunity, and with technology too. So it's just like music. Like I'm sure there's Indian singers who I could sing with, and we never have to be in the booth. There's got to be a way to converge film, right, between Hollywood and Bollywood. So that's a very long answer to say I would love that.
We'd really love to look forward to that. And thank you for answering that question so specifically. Hope it is something that will happen very soon. Thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. All the very best, Dwayne, for whatever's coming next. We look forward to all of your work. Thank you for speaking to India today. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And thank you, India. See you guys.